Welcome to Solving the Handwriting Puzzle. I am Cara Neslin-Warner. I am an occupational therapist and I've been so for 24 years. I've worked in the schools, I've worked at Children's Hospital, and I've had my own private practice. So if you want to find more out about me, you can go to warnerpediatric.com, but I'd rather use this time to tell you about solving the handwriting puzzle. So this program came to be because I watched professionals around me and I found that those who used programs that were sequential, that had a beginning and end, that had concrete, clear language that students could easily follow were the most successful and effective at teaching our students the skills we wanted to teach them. So that's why I created this program, to make it really easy. I found when I was newer as an OT, I was constantly questioning where to start with handwriting. Now I have no question. There's an obvious beginning and there's an obvious end. The other reason why I truly created this program was because I saw kids struggle emotionally with handwriting. I found that it was really hard to focus on handwriting when the students had these emotional walls we had to get through. I couldn't get to their handwriting because they had so many emotions and so much stress about their poor perception of themselves as handwriters. They didn't feel good about putting a pencil in their hand. They didn't feel good about writing letters. And I thought, how can I help improve that for them? How can I help tear down these emotional walls? So that's why I created this program. It has clear communication. It makes it easy for the students to understand. And the thing that's the best about this program that differentiates it from other programs is it just uses positive language to build the student up. The most important step is what I call I'm the teacher step, is where you're making mistakes. You as the teacher, as the OT, you make mistakes in your handwriting, which allows the students to look at your mistakes and correct them. This helps with the communication and it helps tear down those emotional walls for the student and helps build the student's self-esteem up as a handwriter. So let's get into this program. The first thing we need to know is, where do we start? Well, we have to realize there's two different writers. So the handwriter that I created this program for was the students with dysfunctional handwriting, the students that were remediating handwriting, that first grader, that second grader, where their letters aren't on the line, they're not spacing their letters, maybe their letter formation doesn't look great. That's who I created this program for. And for those students, we start with placing letters on the line because they already have enough letter formation that you can start working with letters on the line, and what you're going to see is the letter formation will come into place. However, we can't ignore the students who have not learned to write yet, the students who are learning to write, your preschoolers or kindergartners who are just learning letter formation. Well, that's where you're going to start with them. And you could just work on letter formation and don't worry about writing lines. And then when they're ready, introduce a writing line and go through the steps from there. So you have your two types of writers. You're going to keep it simple. So I say there's two steps. There's teaching it one step at a time, like cleaning a room. And then we're going to use the check, learn, ready to write, I'm the teacher steps. So like cleaning the room, I feel like handwriting is just like telling a student to go clean the room, or a child, if you will, because what happens when you tell a child to go clean the room for the first time is a child will walk in that room for the for the most part and then walk right back out because they're overwhelmed. So if you tell a student to fix your handwriting, it's like it's the same thing. They feel overwhelmed. They don't have the skills to fix their handwriting. They don't understand what that means. So if you tell a student to clean their room, or a child, because you're really not telling a student to do that, right? You're telling the child to do it if you're in your home. So You say, well, let's go clean up our books. Let's go clean up our toys. Let's go clean up our clothes. And then the room gets clean. Well, that's what we're going to do with handwriting. We're going to look at one piece at a time. If we're working with letters on the line, that's all we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about sizing or spacing. We're going to keep it simple and manageable so the student will know what's expected, and they're going to learn each step. And then they'll learn to put it all together, and then they'll be able to fix their handwriting, and they'll understand what that means. So the order to teach and correct. First, we have letter formation, but remember there's two types of students. So for your new writer, we do letter formation, then we put our letters on the line, then sizing, then spacing, then pressure. For your student who we're remediating writing, you're going to most likely start with line orientation. And the reason that's first is because you need to get your letters on the line. Once your letters are on the line consistently, then you can size your letters. Then spacing will come into play. And pressure is last because what happens is when students are changing their handwriting, they're changing their motor planning. That's proprioception, right? Pressure is increased proprioception. You're trying to push harder to get more feedback. Well, when you're changing the motor pattern, you tend to push harder. And that's okay while we're learning and changing. So we can address pressure at the end after we've learned the other steps. Using the check, learn, ready to write, I'm the teacher step. Check is just knowing your student's level. You should just know where your student is at. Learn is where you provide easy steps, explanations of what's expected. There's no corrections, no criticism. You're just saying, here's letters on the line. This is what you do. Here's the writing line, right? For letters on the line, you're just explaining it. Then you're going to demonstrate and practice. So you're going to demonstrate it. They're going to copy you. I'm the teacher is where you are going to make mistakes in your handwriting. The student will look at your handwriting, find all of your mistakes, and then rewrite it. Then you look at their handwriting and find everything they did great. This is good. This is what I'm looking for. That's creating that clear communication. Yes, that's a good letter on the line. That's what I'm looking for. So now you're building that up and you're building a relationship with them. You're building that rapport too. So this program helps you build the rapport by creating these positive steps. And you're always modeling. So you don't have to worry about letter formation. If you moved on to line orientation, you're always modeling your writing. So the student is always going to get those skills. They're going to learn how to do letter formation and letters on the line. So let's go through this program so you can learn the rest of it.